Hello and happy Monday. I'm going to try to do a quick video here on some questions from homework 11.5. Okay. The first one's really straightforward, right? We got A1, 4,000. During the next 4 days, it increases by 30%. That means this is a geometric sequence where we're multiplying the previous term by 1.3. That shows an increase of 30%. So that might be a little tricky. And then it wants the total. So I would circle that word, total. Total number of page views for the first 5 days. So N is 5. Okay, so when we see total, that's going to indicate the sum of the series. So this formula here is for the geometric series, the sum of, and we find our A1, our R, and our N, plug it all in, voila, 36,172 views. Pretty straightforward. The next one, not so straightforward, right? So we have this ball's dropped from 8 feet, and then each bounce rises to half its previous. So I just wrote it out a little bit here for you to show that pattern, okay? So it wants to know how far the ball has traveled by the 7th time. So wouldn't that mean N is 7? And if it wants to know the total distance traveled, we want the sum of all this, okay? All right, so what is our rate? We know that, or our common ratio, is a half. What? Oh, it's beautiful. Okay. All right. Yes, I see, but I gotta keep going here. Okay. So where was I? Write the terms out, create a formula. Okay, so here's the deal. When we're doing the sum of all these terms, let's plug it in. I'll show you. That's only going to give 4, 8, 4, 2, 1, a half, etc. But remember, we want the up and down. So once we get the sum of all these, we're going to multiply it by 2. Does that make sense? And then since this ball is not going back up 8, we're going to subtract 8 at the end. You might want to pause and replay that like 8 times because I feel like it didn't make sense, but I'll explain it again here. All right, so let's find the sum of 8, 4, 2, 1, a half, all the way up to 7, okay? So we'll use our formula here. Our first term is 8. 1 minus a half to the 7th power, all over 1 minus a half. But like I said, this is just adding 8, 4, 2, etc. It's not considering the up and down. So up 4, down 4, up 2, down 2. So we need to multiply this. We need to double this by multiplying it by 2. That will give the up and down. But let's go back here. We don't have an up and down of 8, so we want to make sure we subtract out one of those 8s that we added in. Okay, so you can type all that into your calculator and you should get 23.75. All right, certainly tricky. Okay, how about Bill Gates? His personal fortune doubles every year. If the value of his fortune was estimated at 32 million in 2000, how much was it in 1995? So we are going backwards. I'm gonna stop for a minute.